But, Pine Street is 5 blocks away from O'Farrell Street, so it wasn't a big stretch. I think the neighborhood should be from Pine on down, personally.
Okay.
Because Lower and Up Hill, it's not really a neighborhood, but it is to some people. But for me, I think the TL really starts, that cable car track, to me, now that other people might have a different opinion, really is like downtown.
That was actor and Tenderloin resident Ariel Vitale. I'm Jeff, and this is Storied San Francisco. Every week on this podcast, you'll hear from photographers, dancers, doctors, and other San Franciscans, telling stories and responding to the question, what is it about this place? Welcome to Season 2, Episode 8, Part 1. In this podcast, Ariel, who was born and raised in San Francisco, talks about growing up in the Tenderloin and becoming a ballet dancer at age 9. Here's Ariel.
I was born at Mount Zion Pediatric Hospital on December 21st, 1983. Now, I'm not too sure about this, but from what my mom said is Robin Williams' son was being born in the hospital the same day as me. I don't know if that is true, so don't quote me on this, but it would be cool if it was. My first home I lived in for 13 years was on Pine and Jones in Lower Nob Hill. And then things changed quite a bit, and I started moving around a lot, and I ended up in the Tenderloin.
What changed?
TL.
What changed?
The first .com, my family was evicted, so illegally evicted, and they actually hired people to live underneath us and make illegal noise complaints to get us kicked out of the apartment illegally. So I went from having a nice family apartment, very big, lots of space, to having to grow up in residential hotels.
And how big was your family?
It was 4 people at the time.
So, you were a kid.
I was a kid. I was 12 years old.
And were there other kids?
No, it was my older brother who was 10 years older than me, and my mom and my dad.
Okay.
Subsequently, we ended up at the Cable Car Hotel for 3 years, and then to a bunch of hotels in the Tenderloin, and then finally we ended up in a building on O'Farrell and Jones.
And is that where you did the rest of your
my life?
Yeah.
From like 15 on. But, Pine Street is 5 blocks away from O'Farrell Street, so it wasn't a big stretch. I think the neighborhood should be from Pine on down, personally.
Okay.
Because Lower and Up Hill, it's not really a neighborhood, but it is to some people. But for me, I think the TL really starts, that cable car track, to me, now that other people might have a different opinion, really is like downtown. Pine is downtown. I think TL is downtown. I think it would just make things easier, but,
So Lower Nob Hill, is that the same thing as...
Lower Nob Hill, that stupid-ass Tender Knob.
Yeah,
Real estate, like NOPA, all that bullshit.
Yeah,
no, that's...
Yeah.
So
for you, the TL starts at, essentially at California.
The TL starts at Post, to me.
Right.
But to me, I think Pine Street... To me, it's just that cable car, I don't know, it just always has been that way. It's so close. Everything is so close together.
Yeah. So what was it like growing up in the Tenderloin?
I mean, it was great. I wouldn't change my life at all. That's the one thing, you can't change your life. I have so much perspective because of it. It's not all pretty, when you live in a city. I mean, you could live anywhere. You could live in the suburbs and some serial killers roaming around, but definitely the grittiness, like the drugs, all that shit is a major part of my life and a lot of people's lives that are here. As a child, I've seen some crazy shit, but a lot of city kids have,
Sure.
But this neighborhood, definitely you see crazy on a different level. I have a lot of empathy towards mentally ill people because of growing up here. Disabled people, people with addiction, veterans, like young people that are lost. It just goes hand in hand with. There's a lot of cool artists. There's a lot of cool things still. But, the current state of San Francisco is not always great because people are feeling abandoned by San Francisco. completely.
Yeah. Do you think growing up, where and how you grew up made you an empathetic person?
I think you're born with empathy, but also from experiences in life. Yeah, you're going to get more empathy. Empathy and sympathy are different. Empathy, you have to live it. Sympathy, you can sympathize and feel bad for somebody. But to empathize with a human, you have to live that life. I struggled for 12 years with a hardcore addiction to many things, and I was rock bottom 5 years ago, and I was rock bottom 10 years ago, but it just kept getting further and further down. I'm grateful to a lot of, like, Glide Memorial Church helped me a lot with healthcare and stuff like that. I owe them a lot. St. Francis, friends, family. But I get it. And when you live in a neighborhood like this, it's just like you see it in your face firsthand. And some people don't get that, though. Some people are disgusted by it. But anyone can end up there. I've seen people go from, like, wealthy, like, successful people to being a full-fledged addict on the street. It can happen overnight. It can happen over a weekend. I mean, people turn off and get in their own fucking social media bubble all the fucking time. But, there is life out there, and that is what I have gained from living in the TL my whole life, and Lower Nob Hill my whole life, and in San Francisco my whole life. That's what you gain if you are a kind person. And I know it gets annoying sometimes. I mean, I get it. I get pissed off all the time. We're human beings,
Wait, what gets annoying exactly?
Well, just, it can be very chaotic, Not every day you're going to be, like, in a empathetic mood. You're going to be in a shitty mood, and you don't want to be bothered. I get it. I get where people are coming from. But at the end of the day, all you got to do is perspective and try to step in that person's shoes and just think it's not pretty,
Empathy, like we're...
Empathy, yeah.
Yeah, empathize. And ultimately realize that we're all human.
Yeah.
We're all prone to the same
shit. And there are reasons why people are on the street in San Francisco. It's not... They didn't get bussed out here like they want to tell you. These people lost their fucking homes. I believe Jennifer Friedenbach, the head of the Homeless Coalition, with her numbers, 70% are residents on the street. Yeah, people have always been coming to SF to fucking be free to use whatever. But it's not what they're saying. A lot of these people lost their houses to LSX. They lost their house to illegal evictions. They lost their house to illegal Airbnbs, all kinds of shit.
They lose their jobs.
They get addicted to shit. And what happens if you're addicted to a drug and you get on the street? You're not going to get better living on the street.
Right. What about, how do you feel about or think about, or what's your opinion about kind of the support in this neighborhood for any number of things?
Well, there's a lot of programs. But there's just not enough. There's a huge problem here with drugs, and there's a huge problem with mental illness. They need more. It's an emergency situation, but they're not calling it an emergency. And I don't know what more it's going to take for them to start, like, building facilities for mental illness, building low-income housing, homeless housing. They want to build condos in all these great venues. They want to build condos in every great neighborhood and gentrify neighborhoods, and they think that's the solution to the homeless problem. It makes it worse.
Right.
I mean, every place I loved as a kid and a young adult and as an adult are being taken away. And now it's Hemlock that went.
Right.
I spent so much time at Hemlock. Out of control or whatever. I still have a great love for Hemlock, Elbow Room. This is my opinion. It's like a wonderful chaos. And you see all walks of life. You see all types of people, all cultures. You see people, like, I don't know. It's a neighborhood where people can express themselves in a good way, a bad way, an angry way, a happy way. a sober way, a high way. It's the most, I don't know, there is no Tenderloin in every city. This is a very unique neighborhood, and I've lived in New York. My dad's a New Yorker, and they even say it reminds them of parts of New York, but it's just very authentic. It's cool. And, you can meet all kinds of awesome people still.
Do you want to talk about how you got started with ballet in general and
well, yeah, ballet? I mean, I skipped over that, didn't I?
Let's talk about it.
I was a ballet dancer for 11 years. I studied ballet at San Francisco Ballet School.
Starting at what age? At
9, I received a full scholarship through a program in San Francisco called the DIS program. It's Dance in Schools. And it was ran by a wonderful man who got me into the arts named Charles McNeil. And what he would do is he'd go to all the public schools and teach dance, like movement. And he'd give scholarships to children that he thought had potential. And it was for public school kids who would normally not be able to afford going to one of the best schools in the world for ballet. And when I got the scholarship, that was my life for 11 years.
Wow.
I mean, that was everything to me.
Yeah. Was ballet something you had ever thought about before then?
Well, I was an active kid. I could do like a front flip at 3 years old. Like, I was nuts. Yeah. So my mom was kind of probably at her wit's end with what should I do? So she thought of doing gymnastics. And then that happened. Or baseball or whatever, but that's what came about, and I took to that.
Nice. You ran with it.
Yeah.
What was it like doing ballet? I mean, especially at such a young age.
Well, the first few years, it's very, minor. Like, it's not like a full-time thing.
Not immersive.
Once you hit about 13, that's when you're there 5-6 days a week.
Wow.
I ended up going to independent study in high school. I went to Marina Middle School. But once I hit 9th grade, that was it. I was at my best at ballet at 15. I had one of the greatest Russian ballet teachers in the world. I could have been in a company at that age. I mean, I wasn't like partying. I was so focused. And Russian technique is just ultra focused.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, like, when I hit 16, I mean, the late 90s, early 2000s, mid 90s in San Francisco, rave culture was huge. So I had to partake,
Yeah. You're being pulled.
Yeah, but I still went to class. But I mean, it was just partying hard, going to class, My focus was there, but it wasn't.
Were other dancers joining you? Or?
Everyone, man,
Yeah.
except for kids that weren't into that. There were kids that were real focused. The term is being a bunhead.
A bunhead?
Bunhead.
Okay.
A bunhead is someone that doesn't party, doesn't do anything, just focuses on ballet, and that's it. They end up generally turning into the full-fledged addicts because they're I'm just joking, but some people, like in school, kids that are overachievers that get like all A's.
Yeah.
Well, in ballet, they're called bunheads.
Right.
Yeah,
the AP kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When I was 20, I was asked to leave the school.
Okay.
I had gotten an apprenticeship to a ballet company, and I just walked away. I was done with a lot of things.
Sorry, what was the school? So, were you dancing for the SF Ballet, or?
I was in San Francisco Ballet School.
Okay.
I would perform with the company occasionally. The Nutcracker and, some, side background stuff. But the goal was always to get into San Francisco Ballet. When you're in the school, I mean, that's one of the best companies in the world.
And is it like an age thing, or is it an ability thing, or?
It's political. It's competitive. If you know the right people, you can get put in the company you're not good.
Really?
There were people in the school that were better than principal dancers in the company. How's that work?
Right. With the last
name. Right fucking people, you can achieve in a lot of fields.
Yeah.
Because of my partying, and we didn't hide anything. They kept us in the school because we were good. I'm not going to lie, we were very talented, but it got to the point where I think that hindered a lot.
Yeah.
For a lot of my friends, too. They kind of wanted to weed people out.
Mm-hmm.
But like I mentioned, I did get an apprenticeship, and I just was over with all of the nonsense.
Right.
And I wanted to live a normal life, I guess, away from ballet. Because ballet is a small world.
Mm-hmm.
You need to venture out of that eventually.
That was Ariel Vitale. Check back Thursday when Ariel will share opinions on San Francisco now versus the 80s and 90s. Music for the podcast is by Otis McDonald. Film photography is by Michelle Kilfeather. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, so please like, share, and comment on our content there. All podcasts from seasons 1 and 2 are up on our website, storiedsf.com. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please rate and review the show. We love feedback, so please send comments and suggestions to storiedsf@gmail.com. Thank you for listening.